Hey there, welcome to the channel. So today, a few things that I was looking at. We have the market kind of sold off on news that Apple may be cutting back on spending. We have Gazprom looks like it's declared force majeure, and more kind of letters from customers piling in at Voyager Digital bankruptcy court website. All right. All right. So I guess the first thing we'll take a look at here is what happened today is that Apple had reported that they're going to cut back on their spending. And so I guess the concern out there, the response to the market was to sell off a little bit. And I guess the concern out there is that, I guess, people are worried that the companies are cutting back because we have a bunch of companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft are cutting back. We had this Tesla had supposedly laid off a bunch of people in their full self-driving division. And so there's a lot of talk of companies cutting back or reducing their expanding, reducing their hiring and that kind of stuff. So I think, one of the concerns that you have there is like, well, you have two things. You have one thing that I can think of is like, well, earnings are coming out. Like a lot of these companies are reporting, like Tesla this week, a whole bunch of companies this week. All these companies are reporting very soon. So are they getting out there a little ahead of the issue to say that, well, the earnings aren't going to be as good? Who knows? And so usually if they don't make their earnings, sometimes if things have slowed down on the top line, they'll try to do things like say cost controls, et cetera. And so that would be reducing hiring, reducing that type of thing, and then even maybe layoffs. So that's kind of, I think, what maybe one of the concerns is. But also the other concern is that maybe it's this whole talk of being in a recession is a self-fulfilling it's self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So basically, if all these companies start cutting back, laying people off, then it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy here. Now, on the other news over there in the Ukraine Russia thing, it looks like today Gazprom has declared force majeure. And so apparently they declared it going retroactively to the gas that they've cut off or the flows that they have been giving to Europe. So what'll happen is with force majeure, my understanding is the way that it's supposed to work is if you have a contract with someone, and this is very common in like the energy space. So for example, if you are you run a pipeline and you're agreeing to send, however many billion cubic feet per month, and there's a, or tornado or something takes out your pipeline. Well, you can't do that till you get it fixed. And so you would declare force majeure. Now, the idea behind it is that if it's something that's not in your control, right? Okay, you had no control of the tornado hitting your pipe and damaging it. However, there's a couple things there. First of all, you have to take mitigation steps. And secondly, it was something that was not your fault. So I think that's going to be one of the debates here is this is something that maybe Gazprom is doing deliberately, right? I mean, they're the ones that are reducing the flows. They're the ones that are going to shut off the gas. They've shut it off for maintenance, and we'll see if it turns back on. But that may be the concern here. The concern with this is that, well, they're trying to give themselves some legal coverage here. They're trying to if they don't turn the gas flows back on to Europe, they're trying to basically give themselves some liability protection or some legal standing, right? And of course, then it would be a big debate about whether that's a legitimate reason to declare force majeure. I mean, in one way, you could kind of say that, right? If I'm running Gazprom and I am not the Russian government, but I'm very closely tied to them and have to do whatever they say, right? So maybe they can make that excuse. So that's another thing that was kind of interesting. And then we see just on the UNG, this thing just keeps pressing up. I don't know how, because this UNG, trying to reflect U.S. natural gas prices, I don't know that that's really reflective there, but that's fine. That's fine with me. Now, the other thing too is that we'll get some kind of like kind of the sad state of affairs. Now that we have this website set up for the Voyager Digital bankruptcy slash reorg, whatever the heck they're calling it, we see a bunch of letters coming in. Basically, if you look in here, you'll see all these letters from basically users of Voyager. So you're seeing stuff like this, blah, I was extremely frustrated that I thought this was FDIC insured. You got that stuff. Then you got people just showing snapshots. And it's funny because, right, it's being officially entered, they date it and label the document. Snapshots of, hey, I had 26,000 USDC. And then, this one referring to a old legal case, March 29th, 2020, a different one about an investigation. Yeah, this previous issue where they were ordered to stop offering. So this was just posted in there. So someone filed this. That's kind of interesting. And then, another person here, $55 USDC. Okay, sure you do. Right. Consider another one. Voyager app said this. It doesn't mean anything. Then this person, $10,000 in whatever USDC. Well, good luck with that one. And then you get the more sad ones. This person here, 138,000 of my family's life savings tied up in the platform. That's horrible. And then you have this one here, a little more well written, but this person has maybe one of the best legs to stand on. Maybe they're saying they have a total 110,000 in the bank via Voyager. It has been frozen. So they're trying to just make their case for, unfreezing that. Now, once again, not a lawyer, not legal advice, but maybe they have a chance if this was, for benefit only accounts. And depending on all the rules, there may be a chance for these people. And it may be that these guys are really lucky that they didn't have it in crypto at the time. So we'll see about that. But I find it kind of horrifying because I didn't really understand. I really didn't think people, I know people are gambling with it, and, kids that are living with their parents or, whatever, taking whatever money and gambling with it and stuff. But I really didn't think people were putting life savings in, but it's starting to look like, yeah, people are putting a lot of money. They put a lot of money into that. And I think it's very important to understand, if you have people putting in 138,000, their whole life saving. And if it turns out that there's millions of people that did this kind of thing, then that's an immense amount of money flowing into crypto. And it's not a sustainable situation. It's a one-time thing. So now you kind of back up and you look at the big picture of the crypto. When were these people putting in this money? If these people were pouring this money in, this is how it could happen. If they were pouring their money in this area here, and then it got sold off, and then maybe some more people were even doubling down here, their resources are exhausted. That's an important thing to understand. Their resources are exhausted. They put their life savings in. That went into buy crypto. That drove the price up. There's no more money. That's one of the things with Ponzi schemes. It's like you run out of people. You run out of people to put more money in, and then it collapses. It was funny. I remember in college, I was in college and I was at one of these like Waterbury branch of University of Connecticut. And the funny thing about it, like this guy was trying to sell me on something called airplane. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was, really young, so I didn't know any better. And but I was smart enough not to participate because it wasn't making any sense. But basically, it's like airplane, and it's same Ponzi schemes. Like, hey, if he gets 4 people, blah blah blah, to give him $1 or $10 or whatever it was, and then you get 4 people. Then look at all the money you're making. It was like a literal Ponzi scheme. But I guess I'd read about it later, and it actually had gotten significant in size. So. I think that's probably where we're at. And so I think that when you look at this and you go through these things, now maybe these guys are the outlier. Maybe these people that were just putting in their whole life savings of $100,000. Hopefully they're the outlier, because it's really sad that they did that. However, on the other hand, they may not be. There's 2 things involved here, because if you're going to put the letter up, you're going to have to reveal yourself. So there's probably a whole bunch of people that like don't want to put their name up there and file something, you know. And so this is probably very understated, and there's probably a whole bunch of people that wouldn't know how to do it anyways. But I mean, it's not that hard, but you do have to contact someone and find a way to do it. So I thought that was interesting and sad that we're seeing more of the letters piling into Voyager Digital, and I assume there will be more heartbreaking stories in there. And I think the party's over. All right, so that's it for this one. Bye.